Hello, welcome back to Up the Villa. Aston Villa back in Champions League action against Celtic at Villa Park. This is a massive game for Villa. Joined by Justin. How are you?
Very good. I'm looking forward to this one. Critical game of our season.
I mean, I've said it previously that this game needs no motivation for the players. It is just right in front of them what they have got to do, how they have got to perform, and the level that needs to be required to do it. And I think to start with, we've got to touch on that Villa are in a really good position, having played our 7 Champions League games, and we see ourselves with the opportunity to make it into the top 8, which would be an unbelievable achievement for Aston Villa to be able to do that at the first time of asking. But we had the opportunity against Monaco and put in an absolute stinker. So it's time to redeem ourselves and put in the performance that we really need to do against Celtic. So, Justin, how are you feeling heading into this big Champions League game?
I'm excited. I'll be excited throughout the whole competition. I was at Monaco, as you know, last week, and I was bitterly disappointed with that. A fantastic trip, but terrible game. We've done brilliantly. Yes, we've thrown a couple of stinkers in this tournament. We've had a couple of absolutely outstanding performances as well. And if we beat Celtic, we're running at 2 points a game, which is, that's just phenomenal. First season back in the Champions League, in a league of, 36 of Europe's elite teams. And we currently sit ninth out of 36 with lots and lots of unbelievable sides struggling down the bottom to even qualify for the next phase, let alone be worried about top 8. Qualification was always the target, getting through to the next phase. Top 8 was just a dream at the start, but the fact we are one game away now from, we're pretty confident a win would probably do it, but we'll get into that later. It's just a brilliant achievement. You just can't underestimate the hugeness of what we've done in this competition this season, and hopefully this game will a win in this game could unlock the next phase of the season, which hopefully would take a little bit of pressure off where we are and what we've got to do.
Yeah, I think where we are at this moment in time within our season across absolutely everything, we are still in the mix for
Yeah.
a lot of things. Premier League, we're still in the mix. We're in the mix for Europe. We've got a lot to play for there. Champions League, we've got a lot to play for, whether it's the playoff or the round of 16. We've got something huge on the horizon in the Champions League, FA Cup. So, you know, even though sort of we're flattering to deceive at times, we're going into February with quite a lot still riding on things, and hopefully we get the positivity and the success that we feel like we can get. So we've got the Champions League table here now on the right hand side, and you can see that Villa are in ninth position, and there are a lot of teams above Aston Villa that we can still catch. So what we're going to do is we're going to predict what's going to happen on Wednesday. Every team in the Champions League are playing at the same time. So it might be one of these occasions where you're checking scores come the end of the game to check where everybody is. So we'll fly through some of these games because some of them won't really involve Aston Villa on where we finish. So I think Sporting and Bologna could possibly be a draw.
Yeah, Sporting need to win to probably qualify. Bologna, I think they're out already. They're on 5 points. So I think probably a home win if I'm honest. I think maybe just a sneaky home win.
Okay. And I think this is quite a tough game for Liverpool because this is where Arnie Slot came from, wasn't it? PSV.
I think so, yes.
So I don't think that's going to be as plain sailing as what it could be. So I we'll go 1-1. We've got young boys again who this is sort of like a bottom of the league tie, isn't it? So we'll give young boys a victory in that. Stuttgart against PSG. PSG
Interesting
win.
one.
It's got to be
Yeah, I
PSG
mean,
win, hasn't it?
given that they are struggling down the bottom, Stuttgart are currently in the 24th position, so they're the last qualified team. But it's a difficult task, isn't it? With
Yeah,
PSG having to
Leipzig.
win as well. So yeah,
Yeah, I think PSG win that. Leipzig, Sturm
Graz
Graz.
struggling. Yeah,
Both
go with
teams
that.
can't do anything.
Comfortable win for City.
Yeah, I think so with their new signings as well. Bayern Munich against Bratislava. I think that could be a big one, possibly.
Yeah, agree.
And then this next one really affects Villa because we can still catch Inter Milan. So Monaco as well are
Um,
going for a top 8 as well.
I
So
think I think being as it's at Inter, I mean Monaco. I know they beat us. They didn't impress me at all. I thought they were dreadful. I think Inter, they've only conceded one goal so far in this competition, so I'll just see a home win there, which I
okay,
think
so
is
we
probably the result that would suit us, to be honest, because you keep the ball from the
okay.
door from Monaco.
So with these at the minute, we've slipped into 10th place. So we're not doing well so far.
Don't panic yet.
Dort,
Don't panic.
Dortmund against Shakhtar.
Dortmund 14th. Shakhtar currently can't qualify unless a miracle set of results come. So you think a home win.
Now, this is the big one, Justin. This is the one that could see Villa through if we do the job. Barca against Atalanta. Now, I've heard people say that Barca won't take this seriously. They will take it seriously because Barcelona need the dough. And they will be getting 2 point something million if they win this game of football, which to them, a club that have got financial problems, plus the opportunity to, if Liverpool don't win, they can overtake Liverpool and it is seeded. So top spot will mean that 1 and 2 can't play each other till the final. Atalanta are a very good team, but with Barcelona's flair and creativity, I think Barca win. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Barcelona nicked this, but I think especially with that comeback victory they had last week, which was phenomenal. But even a draw is good enough for us if we win. So I'd urge on the Barca win. I think, yeah,
Same, me too. I think Leverkusen will beat Sparta at home. Juve,
yes,
Benfica, could be a draw, couldn't it? I think.
both teams. Benfica, what are they doing? Can't find them. Oh yeah, they're 21st. Yeah, you think Juve just to
Yeah.
solidify where they are in the league.
So we're currently in 11th place. Another game that'll have a bit of a bearing on Villa would be AC Milan. I don't think it's always going to go plain sailing. We saw that on Wednesday when we thought Bayern Munich would win and they didn't. This could be a draw, I think, AC Milan.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? They've done. I'm just trying to see where they are. Dnipro, Dynamo. Is it Dynamo?
They're about 26th.
Um, Dynamo. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think we're maybe hoping we might be going with heart over head on that one, but yeah, probably. I think Milan will probably have too much for them.
Atletico, they should win.
Yeah,
Lille Feyenoord, I think Lille are doing fantastically well in the Champions League, just like what we are. This could be a high scoring draw, maybe. And then,
that's an
then we may as
interesting
well.
one. Lille final because they're both 11th and 12th. So they're two teams that could possibly pip us. So we could do with a draw in that one.
Yeah, I think it'll be 2-2. Right. Villa Celtic. I've,
We've got to
I've
go
got
for a
I've
win.
I've got this scoreline in my head. Villa 2-0. That is the
Yeah,
scoreline for me.
I'd take a
Um,
2-0 all day.
I think Arsenal beat Girona, and I think
Yeah.
Real Madrid beat Brest. Beat Brest 3-0. So,
Yeah.
where does it have Aston Villa then, guys? This is our predictions. We have got
17th,
Villa.
16th, 15th, 14th, 13th, 11th, 9th. Ooh, 7th. But that's
Look
with
at
that
that though.
Milan. Oh, yeah, that's with the Milan. How did we put Milan? What did we put
Draw, I
Milan?
think. Draw.
Go to the Milan game, just out of curiosity, right? Put
1-1.
Milan as a win because I think they're going to win that, and then go back down to the other one, which I think is one of the critical game, the Feyenoord Lille game. What happens if one of those wins?
I still think we've done it. If Lille
And
win
put, let's
3-2,
say, who's the home
we're
team?
eighth. Lille. So that
Oh, there you go.
if
Then, yeah. So
Lille
even with
win,
a
we stay
Lille win,
eighth.
yeah, that's good.
We,
Then that's good to know. So even if Milan win and Lille win, what happens if it goes the other way, Lille and
well, it's goal
just
difference with Lille. We're
oh,
beating
okay.
Lille on goal difference.
And
So
Leverkusen have got yes, I think that's okay as well. So if it went the other way, if Leverkusen won, what happens to it then? Yeah, that's fine then. Okay. So as long as we win, we keep the wall from the door. So the
yeah, as long
critical
as
game is the Atlanta one, isn't it? That's basically what we thought
we
anyway.
win and some of them teams above us don't win, then we do it. But
I
think
do
that's
think it's as simple as Atlanta not getting anything more than a draw and us beating Celtic. I think, barring a couple of really surprise results, I think that's just going to be enough to see us through.
yeah. And if we win and Leverkusen win and we outscore Leverkusen by I think 2 goals, then we'll overtake them on goal difference.
Yeah.
So very
Unbelievable.
very
So we've
good.
qualified.
Right.
That's sorted. Nice
Yeah,
one. That's
that's
sorted.
it. Right, Celtic then, Justin.
Right.
Thoughts ahead of Celtic. How do you feel like they're going to do? I mean, they've got a couple of attacking issues with Maeda being suspended. They've sold a striker. They've bought in Jota, but Jota can't play. So 2 attackers won't be playing that probably would have started this game against Villa. So how are you feeling about playing them? Thoughts on Celtic as a football club as well?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? You know, when you was a kid growing up, you always sort of pick one or the other, didn't you? I don't know why I picked Celtic out of Celtic and Rangers. There's no reason for it. I'm not a particular Celtic fan, but I always watch the Alpha Derby with interest. I think that's always a very interesting game. The passion, it's always great to watch it. But it's the Scottish League, isn't it? It's one of the old conundrums, isn't it? How good is the Scottish League? You know, since when I was a kid, there was a lot of speculation on Celtic and Rangers leaving Scotland and coming down to the English leagues because they just dominate so much up there. But over the years, we've seen them play many times against English Premier League clubs and top flight clubs, and they've always generally done okay, but in recent years, generally been not good enough. We see a lot of players that play for them that come from sort of mid-range Premier League and teams, and they always do okay. Yet, if they came back down to England, you wouldn't expect them to be anyone decent. You know, maybe I'm doing them a disservice, but I'm fairly confident that a fully fit and firing Villa, which we haven't seen obviously for a while, is good enough to beat Celtic. So as long as the occasion doesn't get too much for Villa and we don't get carried away by the game, I see us being too good for them. That's not to say
Yeah,
that they haven't got a chance. Now, we saw Rangers go to Man United last week. Right, Man United are in horrific form, and they gave them a reasonable game, didn't they? It was only a late goal that nicked it from Man United. So, if you're saying that on a par, if we're anywhere near, I can't see anything other than a win. But we haven't been anywhere near, and that's the issue now. If we can get our form together, I think we'll be okay. But if we play like we have done the last couple of games, especially second halves, then it could be a really tight game.
I think the big thing for me is that home form in the Champions League has been pretty good. I mean,
Yeah,
the Juve game was very tight, but I thought they were very good. Juve, strong in midfield, defenders very well organised. It was a real tactical battle. Neither team gave it an inch really. So I thought, even though we didn't win that one, I thought it was a pretty good game, and I just see us rising to the occasion at home with the atmosphere, with what's at stake, and I think with that added intensity of it being sort of a battle of Britain as well, the atmosphere from both sides is going to be really, really well. So, yeah, I hope that we deliver and we turn up and we do what's required.
Yeah, it's a funny one. Our home form's been pretty good. 2 wins and a draw, I think, at home in the Champions League. Theirs has been 2 draws and a loss. They've only scored 1 goal away from home and conceded 7. So, form would say that they've struggled on their travels. I think they've got 10 points at home, so that's where the majority of their points are picked up. But it's England, Scotland, isn't it? It's gonna be tasty. It's gonna be
this
tasty. I'm just the one player I'm absolutely over the moon that's going to be fit, ready for this game is John McGinn. We
same.
absolutely need him for this.
Same. Right. So, predicted lineup from a Villa point of view.
John McGinn.
This is something that I have brought to the table. Now, Justin, you can disagree and agree or give your thoughts in a second. I've done a lot of thinking about what we're going to do with our centre backs because we've only got one fit centre back so far for this game. Now, my thinking is along these lines. So hear me out, guys. Let me know what you think. This is the team that I would play. And I would play this team to mirror what we did against Everton. So when we played against Everton, we had Kamara dropping back and making a back three in possession. And we had a lot of rotation within this team. So against Everton, this is what we did. We had a left back that went forward, as normal, offering the width. We had 2 centre halves. We had Rodgers supporting Watkins. Cash offering the width on the left. Kamara making up a back three. And we had Tielemans, because I think Onana played, Tielemans dropping. So it'd be McGinn. Now, with this fluid flexibility of our team, I think it enables Digne to be okay. What it does allow as well is it allows Rodgers to start on the right, drift and support Watkins. McGinn then to drop and support in the double pivot. So McGinn can be in and around the midfield, in and around these areas as well. We've got Tielemans who stays in there. Kamara that's covering. The only other option we've got is to play Swinkles, and I don't think he's going to do it. Emery's absolutely massive on having a left-footed player that plays on that left-hand side of the defence. So for me, it makes sense to stick with Digne and play this formation because we saw it. If I just show you guys what it looked like when we played against Everton. So if I show you the average positions, you'll be able to see how it sort of looks over the course of a whole game. So here we go. So this is what we looked like against Everton. So you can see that Kamara dropped in and made that back three. We've got Cash that offered width on the right. Rodgers played in and around Ollie Watkins. Tielemans dropped and played in the double pivot. You've got Onana holding, Ramsey, and then you've got width on the opposite side with Luca Dean. Right, Justin, offer your insight.
Well, we're in a pickle, aren't we, at the back? We are in a pickle. So, I've wrote down 4 names that could fill the gap. Bogard, Dean, Swinkles, and Kamara. Now, we knew that Kamara could and can and has played in an emergency at centre-half. Could he go with Kamara as the experience? We know how good a player Boubacar is, and I totally understand the argument. The counter-argument is you're losing him from the centre midfield. And I think had McGinn not been fit, I don't think that would even be a consideration. I just wonder whether he would go with as many experienced players in the side. And I know we got no choice unless we play Bogard or Swinkles, which I don't think we're going to do. We're going to have to play a player out of position, which is Luca Dean. More than likely, he's the favourite. Obviously, after being switched to play there the other day, I think he did okay. It was quite funny, actually, a couple of times looking from where I sat. There was a couple of times when he sort of ventured forward a bit, and when he went back to his position, he almost forgot he was playing centre-half and he was running back to left-back. Then he realised, oh, crap, I've got to play just inside here. So that's the interesting thing is what does he do? I may be tempted to. I possibly myself would be tempted to possibly put Kamara in there. It's a one-off game. We're obviously going to do deals in the window. We've seen a deal possibly being done today for a centre half. Hopefully, Mings isn't too bad. So this is literally a one-off. How do we get through this game, giving ourselves the best chance to win it? I possibly might go with Kamara, but I don't think he'll do that. But I think it's an option, only because McGinn and then McGinn and Tielemans can just sit in a double pivot then, and I think McGinn in that role against Celtic could be a good option anyway, which would allow us to maybe a bit more attacking in the front four positions.
Well, it'd be interesting to hear what everyone in the comment section's got to say on who they would play at the back.
It's not ideal anyway. Whoever plays there, it's not ideal, is it? That's what we've got to say. So we're in a bit of a pickle. So
Yeah.
somebody's got to do a job for us on Wednesday night, basically.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one, but what I would say is that I think when we play Digne or whoever we play there, well, we played Digne against West Ham, and it was very much thrown together. They'll have played there, but they would have had no tactical insight on what was going to happen in that game, barring a bit at half time, etc. I actually feel like with Emery sort of having his usual preparation for this game, I think tactically we should be pretty switched on for this game, whoever plays there.
Well, he
Because
would prep it ready, wouldn't he? Yeah.
He'll be so meticulous in who goes there, what do you do, who's playing where you're running, what does he. So I think in that aspect we should be fine. I just feel like he's been very clear, even after the game, about the left-sided player being left-footed. So the only thing I can think of is that it has to be Digne because he's got a left foot. I mean, Swinkles has got a left foot, but I don't know where Swinkles is. Is he with the kids? Is he wherever? So I just think, like you said, it's a pickle and a conundrum of where we are. But yeah, I'd personally go with Digne. You'd personally go with Kamara.
Celtic have got a huge amount of big bustling centre forwards. I think Ida is it. Adam Ida. I think he's a big lad, but he doesn't tend to play. He tends to come off the bench. But the two sort of lads or three lads that play up top, they're sort of nippy little forwards, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking, would he go with Bogard? I don't know. I'd hate to make this decision, but it'd be interesting.
So, I mean, this is how Celtic are going to line up. And this is coming from top source, Celtic Fans TV. Have told me what they're going to line up like. So this is pretty much nailed on. So we've got a back four, three in midfield, two on the left. Now, these two players, so we've got, let me just find a nice colour to circle them with. So we've got Ida and we've got Huan Jun, who aren't necessarily their first choice players to be ideally starting this game. And like you say, the physicality is not really there. And this is something that I want Villa to be able to do. I want us to be able to overpower Celtic as well. Like with Rodgers just driving, that's what I want. And that's why I think McGinn needs to play as well. So I do think it's going to be interesting with what he goes with, because he's going to have to be, I imagine he's really, as we speak, probably studying what he's going to do with the lineup and who's going to play. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do against Celtic, really. So, yeah, do you want to add anything on it?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because they're not top players, are they? And like I say, Celtic is I can't feel anything other than confidence. I can't, and I know I always say that, and it gets a bit boring. But I do. I feel like we're going to put in a good performance. I think whoever plays at the back is, like you say, it was difficult against West Ham because it was a decision that had to be made that nobody expected to make really early in the game, and they had to make a quick call, and they went with Luca Dean. Whoever plays there is going to be ready for it and be drilled, ready to play there. And it's down to us again. I keep saying it. It's down to Villa. we don't perform, don't turn up, which we haven't done for a couple of games now, then this is going to be a tough game. But if we perform, from what I've seen of Celtic, a few times I've seen this season, you got Carter Vickers, they couldn't make it at Spurs. You got Austin Trusty. I think it was getting a loan at Blues at one point, and that's the centre half partnership. They're not top end players, and if we get anything like, if we get anywhere near that first 10 minutes against West Ham, not even as good as that, but for a prolonged period of play, we will have enough to beat them. But if we get into a fight, which I tend to think these days, when we get into a battle in a game, we tend to go a little bit missing, and we haven't got that. I don't know what it is. Something we lose that momentum in a game, and we find it difficult to regain momentum in football matches these days. So let's grab the game by the scruff of the neck, get in the ascendancy, and then properly put our foot down on them instead of letting teams back in, which we've done too much this season.
Yeah, and I want this game and this performance to be the catalyst of our season. I want us to really kick on after this and just, yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great occasion. We've got to grasp it. We've got to win, and we've got to get into the top 8. So we'll end it there. We've done our predictions. We've both predicted what team we go with. So in the comments, let us know what you would go with and who you would play in each position. So we will see you at the fan cams for our reaction after the Celtic game. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.